So you guys seem to be absolutely loving the Spider-Man videos and all the news and leaks that we've been getting with that and all of the above. Again, I've been making a ton of videos to do with all that, and I just kind of sat there and thought to myself, holy crap, what if I did something a little bit different today and kind of did a massive long-term Spider-Man brand new day video to kind of just give you literally everything that you need to know, whether it's the leaks, the casting announcements, the rumors, the story plot details, whatever it may be. Again, we're going to be talking about everything that we know, of course, with the movie today. Again, before we do get into it, if you haven't already, please do me a massive favor and leave a like on this video to let me know you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel for all latest Spider-Man news and content. And I guess without further ado, let's get straight into it. We recently just got confirmed that Spider-Man 4 has officially got a new title, and it is going to be the one that was pretty much leaked all those months and months ago. That is the official title, and instead of it being the leaked one, which was Spider-Man A Brand New Day, we now have official confirmation that the new Spider-Man movie is called Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, this was actually announced by Sony, giving us this new look at the logo, which compared to the other Spider-Man logos from the movies, it is absolutely crazy. It is way different. Again, it gives me like an animated Spider-Man type of vibe. I really don't know why, but also, I mean, to me, it just screams that it's grounded and screams like this is an original story. This is completely new, you know, drastically different. It just feels like Spider-Man to me. I think that's the best way to describe it, that this new logo looks like Spider-Man. It feels like it's classic Spider-Man and exactly what my hopes and dreams have been about for this. Again, I legitimately have nothing left but Spider-Man, and now I finally have the of course new title for the movie. Again, we do actually have a lot of new information as well, specifically from the director Destin Daniel Cretton, with him confirming that Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be getting a new suit in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which, I mean, I'm a little bit bummed out because I thought the final swing suit at the end of No Way Home was really good, and the suit that we should be getting in the future films, again, I think it probably will be the suit, at least for the first half of the movie. But again, we got to remember that Disney and Sony love to have as many suits as they possibly can have in these movies, because realistically, it sells a crap ton of toys. It sells a crap ton of Funko Pops. It also gives you a lot of different things that you don't even think about, like the video game being able to add multiple suits. Like, again, the advertising being able to have multiple different suits as well. Again, a lot of things you don't think about actually get influenced by them introducing multiple different suits in the film. So I don't think this is really a surprise at all. Again, I'm not particularly too happy about it. I would have loved if they did what Sam Raimi did with his Spider-Man and have a suit that was distinct to his trilogy of movies that we all loved in the web suit. But I guess they're going something different. Again, even the Insomniac Spider-Man has his own suit that is distinct to him with the white spider logo, and I thought that's what the final swing suit could have been for Tom Holland, but they, I guess, disagreed with the chubby white fat kid who's making this video and wanted to sell a bunch of toys and create a bunch of merchandise with all of this, new Spider-Man suits that we're probably going to get. Again, it could be up to 2 or 3, I'm guessing we're going to get. Again, he did also talk about a couple other things, I believe from what I've heard, mentioning, of course, that they are trying to figure out how they want the web slinging and whatnot, or web swing, I should say, to be for this Tom Holland Spider-Man. Again, to me, that's very important because Tobey Maguire's web swinging was perfect. Andrew Garfield's web swinging is really, really good. The video game has terrific web swinging, but Tom Holland's Spider-Man's web swinging, just based from the, I think, director in John Watts not really having that great of a creative vision, in my opinion, for it, was really crappy and is by far the worst. Again, the camera angles for Spider-Man and him web swinging are really crap, and I think just not inspired is probably the right way to put it for the Spider-Man, home trilogy, this MCU Spider-Man trilogy. It's really not that good, and I think this is a massive thing for them to address, is that they're probably going to want to have scenes of Spider-Man swinging around, maybe doing cool flips in the air, doing cool tricks, and just being a really awesome, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, like some of the content that we got to see in the originals and Andrew Garfield remakes. I think that's what they're going to be doing. I also think Cretton is really going to focus on the fight scenes and action. I think this has a chance to be one of the best action Spider-Man movies. Again, I don't think anything will ever take the cake of Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is the perfect Spider-Man movie and the best Spider-Man movie for 108 million different reasons. But there is a chance that with a guy who specializes in, these choreography, fight scenes and battles and action scenes, especially what we've seen from him in Shang-Chi, I think there is an opportunity here to get something really good that we all want to see in, I was going to say Spider-Man 4, but I guess Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, there's a couple other things, like I've mentioned previously. It was leaked by Jeff Snyder, I believe, that the main villain of this movie will be the Chameleon, which I completely forgot. I think someone mentioned this. I don't even remember if this is true or not, but apparently he was the first ever villain in a Spider-Man comic. Again, I don't know why that wasn't in my mind. I still don't even know if that's true. I haven't even really fact-checked that, but at the end of the day, I saw that the other day, and if that's true, that's kind of crazy to think that he has gone so, I think, underused. And the fact is that, yeah, if he's the main villain of this movie, they could be setting up a lot of really awesome things. Again, the fact is that vigilantism will probably be illegal in this film, and at the end of the day, I think having a guy like Chameleon being able to change his identity, it'd be really interesting if that was how Zendaya's MJ is in this movie, is that Chameleon ended up changing his identity into her. Again, that would be some sick, twisted shit that could really get on Peter Parker's, mental ability to be a great Spider-Man. Again, we know Chameleon is not the physical threat that a lot of Spider-Man are, but he could be an insane mental threat, just like Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, where he could maybe be tricking Spider-Man into thinking he's MJ, or maybe Chameleon puts on 392 million pounds and becomes Ned. Again, that could be something really interesting that they definitely do decide to explore. It also, it realistically gives you the opportunity to have, the fact is vigilantism is illegal. They could somehow turn that into a plot of maybe in the 5th movie having Kraven, of course, hunt Spider-Man. Again, I don't know if they could do that for Kingpin. Maybe Kingpin hires him, or I don't know how they could go with that with the plot. Again, that could be highly different and highly interesting. But at the end of the day, even though Chameleon might not seem like a main villain worthy, there's rumors they're looking for a 30 to 50-year-old woman. So that could also mean that Silver Sable could be getting hired, which means we'd have 2 main villains in this movie, Silver Sable and Chameleon. And there's also been casting rumors that they're looking for a middle-aged man who is highly intelligent and outgoing, which, again, could either be a new variant of Norman Osborn, maybe by Coleman Domingo. I know he's a black actor, and race swaps get hated sometimes, but he's an Oscar-nominated guy who voice acts him in the show, and it would differentiate himself from Willem Dafoe. I think that'd be interesting, but it could also be Martin Lee, Mr. Negative maybe, who could be like a side villain in this film, or a side character who maybe in eventual films turns into Mr. Negative again. There could be a lot of really interesting things that they do with this. Brand New Day sounds pretty straight level as well. And if this movie does take place at the same time at Doomsday, that could be very, very much interesting on what we could, of course, be seeing. For those of you who don't know, there's been a ton of different rumors and reports to come out with the new MCU Spider-Man 4 movie that we now know is officially called Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, I think the first thing we'll genuinely get started on is a report coming out by Variety that says that Jacob Batalon is expected to return as Ned Leeds in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, it does say he's expected to return as Ned Leeds in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Hobgoblin eyes emoji again. For those of you who don't know, Ned is like the overweight best friend we all have. Again, I'm pretty sure I'm the overweight best friend in my friend group. But of course, I can relate to Ned on the screen as the guy who tries to be overly funny, who is overweight. The only thing is, Ned actually gets a girlfriend in Spider-Man Far From Home, which, yeah, I just, women don't speak to me. But in the comics, Ned essentially turns into the Hobgoblin, or at least in some of the comics. So it has been theorized by a bunch of different people that this could be the direction they are, of course, heading with in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, considering it was revealed that Brand New Day would be a completely new story and a fresh start, I don't think Ned will be in it, like, really at all. I think he'll have a very, very small and minimal role, which could be very similar to Zendaya's, and especially considering we've heard rumors that, you know, the Chameleon could be one of the main villains of the movie. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chameleon does some twisted shit and like shapeshifts and gains 250 pounds and turns into Ned just to mess with, you know, Spider-Man's mental ability. Again, Chameleon's not a physical threat, he is a mental threat, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he turns into Zendaya. That could legitimately be something we see as well. Again, some more stuff, one that we've kind of heard, but Peter Parker will be getting a new suit, with Tom Holland saying that Spider-Man Brand New Day is a fresh start. Again, I don't know why we're getting a new suit, particularly considering the final swing suit was absolutely badass. I don't know if they're just making a slight modification to that. Again, the director, Dustin Daniel Cretton, said that they're in full prep now for Spider-Man Brand New Day this summer. So that's awesome to know things are fully coming around. And I think the two really important news and leaks to talk about in this video are to do with the villains and kind of confirming that we won't be getting these two guys as the main villains of the movie, which is really awesome. Again, one of these being reported that Vincent D'Onofrio said that Kingpin cannot appear in MCU films. He said, "I'm only usable for television shows, not even a one-off Wilson Fisk movie. It's all caught up in the rights and stuff. I don't know when that would work out or if it would ever work out at all." Again, this is really interesting because this has led to a lot of people over the last months who have really thought that Kingpin is going to be the main villain of this movie. But as we now know, again, in the last couple of weeks, we have had a ton of reports that the Chameleon will be a main villain, that Mr. Negative or Martin Lee will be showing up in this movie, whether it will be him as a main villain or him, you know, being hinted at as a main villain in future movies. And of course, we know a 30 to 50-year-old woman is reportedly looking to be cast potentially as a main villain as well. So this film could realistically have like two main villains with Chameleon and, you know, Silver Sable, and then have, of course, Martin Lee in it, who maybe becomes a villain by the end of the movie. Again, I think there is a way they can juggle all of these characters, considering none of them other than Mr. Negative, I personally think, are really main villain material. So I think they can really pull off that story, but this just more so confirms that the Kingpin will not only not be a main villain in this Spider-Man movie, but I don't think he's going to be a main villain in the fifth one either, with this looking like it's kind of teasing to Mr. Negative being the main villain of the fifth movie, or having some type of little role, I think, in this fourth movie. So maybe the 6th movie, they can get the rights to Kingpin. I don't know, but it doesn't look like they're really heading down that direction at all. But I tell you who the other character who it's 100% they're not heading down this direction. It's Tom Hardy as Venom, with him saying that Tom Hardy says a Spider-Man and Venom crossover film almost happened. Tom Hardy that on a Spider-Man and Venom crossover film got close to happening, but the studio decisions ultimately kept it from moving forward. I would have loved to do it because it would have been so much fun. Again, I think this is even more of a confirmation to say that the Sony Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man is officially not going forward. Again, we know that the first Venom movie was absolutely awesome, right? Morbius came after that, and I swear to God, it wasn't as bad as what everyone said it was, but it wasn't good. Let's officially confirm that. And then after that, it was Venom Let There Be Carnage, which officially killed it for me. Again, I hated that movie so much. I love Woody Harrelson. I just hated how they wasted him as Carnage, as well as Carnage just being flat out completely wasted altogether, and Venom just getting way too comedic. It was a terrible movie. Again, we had other films after that, Madam Web, Kraven the Hunter, and Venom 3, all of which all failed and didn't hit the mark at all. Again, we do know that they do not have any future movies going forward with that, and I think Tom Hardy's basically said in interviews that he doesn't really think he's going to be coming back as Venom at all, and he's like, you know, to be completely honest, I don't think it's happening. And I think he kind of even hinted that I don't even think the studios want it to happen. I think if Venom was to ever be introduced in a film, it wouldn't be, of course, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy would not be a villain in any movie. I also think this 100% closes the door on Venom being in the MCU. I don't think we will be seeing Venom in Avengers Secret Wars again. I could be very wrong on that because they've kind of had every character and their dad, but I can't see a world where Marvel even want to associate anything with this really, really atrocious Sony universe. So I don't think that will be happening. And if they ever do want to do Venom again for like a 6th Spider-Man movie, because as I said, I think kind of all the villains for number 4 and 5 have already been planned out, and there was a report that Marvel had already started planning out Spider-Man 5 as well. Again, I think with all of that being said and done, I just don't see any way, shape or form that we see Tom Hardy's Venom appear in Spider-Man 5, Spider-Man 6, a Venom crossover movie thing with Tom Holland Spider-Man, and I certainly don't think we're going to be seeing him in Avengers Secret Wars as well. Again, I don't think Marvel as well are going to do like a movie like Deadpool and Wolverine where it was semi a rest in peace farewell to the Fox universe until they kind of realized people still liked the Fox universe, and now all of these characters are coming into Avengers Doomsday. I'm kind of guaranteeing that Marvel are never going to do they're never going to do a farewell tour for these Sony movies that wildly missed the mark and just were, you know, bigger booty cheeks than what Lana Rhodes has got packing behind her, or whatever Mia Khalifa's got packing behind her, or more so what Kim Kardashian has got packing behind her. Again, none of this is ever going to happen. I low-key feel semi-bad for Tom Hardy. I mean, he probably after the first movie would have been like, holy crap, I'm going to get like a massive franchise out of this. I'm going to be in like 10 movies like all the other Marvel actors, because the first one was so good, and then the second and third one just sucked and he wasn't in anything else at all. So I don't really know what's going on here. Boys and girls, do you genuinely believe in miracles? Because I actually think I'm starting to believe, because as a Spider-Man fan, as of late, we've been eating, and I've been eating too much. Like, I genuinely think with the amount that I've been fed by Sony and Marvel right now, I'm going to turn into someone from My 600-Pound Life. But we're just getting way too much good news and information that is really touching me in places that my uncle tried to do many times to me as a kid. So we're going to be starting off with the first report here saying that Marvel is casting an Asian actor for a big role in Spider-Man Brand New Day, revealing that 30 to 50 year old male casting announcement that we all heard about a little bit ago is definitely not going to be Norman Osborn unless they're making Norman Osborn Asian, which I mean, fair enough. They already made him black. We might be getting a new Asian Norman Osborn. Look, that might be tough. Like, that might be genuinely tough, but it doesn't look like we're getting that at all, because we're getting an Asian actor. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this can only mean one thing. This can mean one thing, right? And no, it's not that Norman Osborn is going to be Asian. It's that we are going to be getting Mr. Negative, my all-time favorite Spider-Man villain, the pretty much main villain from the first Spider-Man game, who has such an interesting backstory and is such a great character. Like, I mean, the thing is that Mr. Negative, Martin Lee, it's that they're like two different people. Martin Lee is a man who has built an empire of wealth and has done so many generous and great things, such as starting Feast, which is, of course, a massive homeless shelter, and there's, I think, a bunch of them in New York City. Again, he gets all the homeless off the street. They go live for him. He hires people such as Peter Parker's Aunt May to feed and look after these homeless people. Again, it was like that in the game, and it was like that in No Way Home, where it was revealed that Aunt May was working at Feast, and that's where, of course, she found Norman Osborn. Again, that's Martin Lee. That is Martin Lee as a character. Martin Lee is a great character, but as we know, it was revealed when he was younger on, I believe, he and his family, I think in some iterations, were experimented on, and I know specifically in the game, I think the experiment was done by Oscorp and Norman Osborn. Obviously, it went really, really bad. His parents died, and he was essentially given this negative energy where he was able to mind control people and give them these powers that he, of course, shared, and they became his henchmen. And again, essentially, he became a really, really bad man who was always seeking revenge against Norman Osborn, to the point where he actually would go on to bomb one of Norman Osborn's events that he had in the game. That was, of course, actually I think it was a Key to the City event for Miles Morales' father, Officer Jefferson, who, of course, you know, helped save Spider-Man's life previously in the game. Again, the thing is with all of that is that Mr. Jefferson would die, and Miles Morales would, again, end up starting his adventure into what we know of him becoming Spider-Man. So, Mr. Negative is a terrorist. Yes, Mr. Negative is a dead set terrorist, while Martin Lee is a typically really, really nice guy who, again, helps out the homeless shelters and does some really, really great things. Owns homeless shelters, I should say. Again, this would be perfect for him to be a Spider-Man villain, because in reality is that Peter Parker would know Martin Lee as his, you know, aunt's boss. And at the end of the day, we might see throughout this new movie of Spider-Man Brand New Day, maybe Peter starts to volunteer at Feast or something, and maybe that was a request that his aunt always had for him. So he, of course, gets closer and closer with Martin Lee. He will see Martin Lee as, I wouldn't say a father figure, but he's going to see him as a great mentor and someone to wildly look up to and be inspired from. Just for that, you know, just for him to go into full detective mode like he does in the game and kind of find out that Martin Lee is in fact Mr. Negative. Again, there's a couple other reports here. Stephen O'Young, who is the voice and actor of Mr. Negative in Spider-Man games, wants to return in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Goes on to say that Stephen O'Young, who's in Twisters and Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, who voiced Mr. Negative, and he also did the motion capturing for him in the Spider-Man video games, wants to reprise his role in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Again, The actor shared a post on X mentioning that Marvel is looking for a 30 to 50-year-old Asian actor, hinting at Mr. Negative, and replied with, "Let's all tag Marvel Studios." He also expressed interest in returning during a February 8, 2021 interview with Comic Book Movie, saying, "Kevin Feige, you know I'm down to come back." Again, I would just like to say that I would love to see Stephen O'Young as Mr. Negative. I mean, he is Mr. Negative. This is the guy that we, of course, want to see. But we have to remember, when an actor is typically tweeting out and talking to Marvel and talking to any movie studio online saying that I want to play this part or whatever, that usually means that he has not been texted, not been considered at all. Because there's no way, if he was being considered and going for the part, Kevin Feige would be letting him tweet out saying, you know what to do, like all of this type of stuff. In my opinion, again, he could still be, he realistically could still be going for the part, but in my general opinion, I don't think Stephen O'Young is being considered for the part at all. And that's not saying that he's a bad actor or anything like that. Like, he's a phenomenal actor from what we've seen in the games and whatnot. But we gotta remember, voice acting and motion capturing is way different than being in the movies. And he's only just started to get into, I think, those bigger type of movies now. And I'm pretty sure he's been in really, really, really small roles. So Marvel casting him as a massive role, and arguably what could be one of the biggest, if not the biggest role outside of Tom Holland's in Spider-Man No Way Home, seems to me it is a little bit far-fetched. And we got to remember, typically, especially under Marvel, they hire really, really big name actors to play their characters and do all the interviews and marketing. Again, we got to remember, Jake Gyllenhaal is arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest actors of all time. There are a ton of experts and critics who would have Jake Gyllenhaal on their top 10 actors. Again, he's been in everything good. Every project he does is absolutely insane. And they got him to do Mysterio. Again, Michael Keaton, a legendary actor, pretty much known by some as the Batman, was Vulture. Again, Jamie Foxx doesn't look like Electro at all and has never looked like Electro from the comics, but he's a big name actor and they got him to do that. Willem Dafoe, etc., etc. The only one I feel like wasn't truly a big name actor was, Alfred Molina. I don't think he's ever been a massive actor. He's been a known actor mainly because of Spider-Man 2, but I don't think he's ever been a massive actor. But pretty much every actor they've gotten, maybe besides even Lizard, maybe he was in Notting Hill as Spike, but I don't think he is a massive actor. There's a couple, but they more often or not cast really big name actors, and even when they don't, like Alfred Molina, who I don't think is considered a massive actor, he's still a lot bigger than what Stephen O'Young currently is. So I don't know if they will go with him. I have a feeling they're going to cast just a big name Asian actor of some sort. Hell, go get me Ken Jeong. Oh, I think that's his name. The dude from the Hangover movies who plays Mr. Chow. Fuck it. let's go and get him. I don't know. I'm sure there's a very serious and very great actor out there who they could really go for. Again, one actor who's just kind of coming to my head, and I don't really know if I know his name, but the guy who plays Snake Eyes and in Crazy Rich Asians, I wonder if he's a guy they're going to be looking at. Maybe they want to go a little bit older. I don't really know, but there's going to be a lot of Asian actors out there who are massive who are going to go for this role. So, again, I'm extremely interested to see who they, of course, go on and pick, because I love Mr. Negative, and they got to make this character great in live action. They can't be messing around with Mr. Negative, bro, or I will turn into Mr. Negative, just minus the terrorism part. I was kind of talking about me just being negative in general. I don't really know. Again, don't forget to make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest gaming content, movie content, all of the above. Subscribe to my sports channel, which will be getting linked in the description down below. All of the above, and I guess I will be seeing you guys next time. Goodbye.